Hi guys, and welcome back to our blog in association with the Liverpool Echo. Now, you probably guessed what I want to talk about today, and that's foam rolling. Okay, now this is a real hot topic in the fitness and rehab industry at the moment. And what I'd like to do today is to help you guys out a little bit. Hopefully, clear a few kind of common misconceptions up and show you the best way that you can use one of these bad boys to help get those muscles a lot more flexible, a lot better hydrated, and a lot better suited to the exercises and strains that you're going to put them through in your sport and your training sessions. Alright, so what I'd like to kind of start with first is when we foam roll. Okay, now the best time to foam roll is during your warm-up before an exercise session. Alright, doing it at the end is not really going to have that much benefit for you in the long term. Okay, so doing it at the start is the best time to foam roll. The reason being, what foam rolling does is it kind of replicates massage. Now, massage is there to hydrate the tissue. When the masseur applies pressure, what that does, it tells the body that, right, this tissue is going through movement. So we need to send water, fluids, nutrients and oxygen to the muscle. Okay, so what we're doing, we're kind of doing like a self-massage on a foam roller. Alright, so when the body sends all this stuff to the muscles, all the fluids and the nutrients and the oxygen, it makes the muscle a lot spongier. Okay, and when the muscle gets a bit more spongy, it gets a lot more pliable, a little bit stretchier, and it helps the muscle cope with the demands of your sport or your training session much better. Alright, so by applying the compression with this through your muscles, floods in with nutrients, floods the muscle with oxygen and floods it with water and other fluids. Okay, makes the muscle more pliable and in a better position to cope with the demands of your training session. Alright, now the reason we do it before a training session, and that's where you get the better results, is basically because your body doesn't really understand being rubbed. Alright, in the long term, the adaptations that you get will be from hydrating the tissue by doing your foam rolling, or your self-release. You can use like a tennis ball, a golf ball, I don't know, anything you want, and then move in. Okay, so it's giving the body stimulus, showing it what you want to do with it. Alright, that's what gives you long-term adaptations to your nervous system to make you function better in the future and help you avoid injury. Alright, now there's one other misconception that I really want to clear up, alright, and I really want to stop you guys wasting a hell of a lot of your time, alright, and that is direct foam rolling of the IT band. Alright, now the IT band is that big strip that runs on the side of your leg, from outside your hip, right the way down the side, and attaches just on your fibula below your knee. Alright, now this is one of the most dense bits of connective tissue in your body, alright, and applying direct pressure on it using one of these not going to do a lot of good. Firstly, it hurts like hell, and secondly, I like to use the analogy with my clients of you've got more chance of changing the length of a high tensile steel cable with a rolling pin. Alright, it is just that dense, that thick, doesn't have a lot of blood supply, and it's not very kind of pliable or stretchy. Alright, so what you're better off doing is attacking your glutes, lateral hamstrings, and this muscle called the TFL, alright, tensor fascia lata. Okay, so the TFL and the glutes, they will have a direct attachment to that IT band. So what you want to do, you want to roll on them, get them more pliable, lengthen them a little bit more, and that'll have a direct effect on lengthening the IT band. Alright, but trying to roll on the IT band, really painful and completely pointless. Trust me, you're going to get lots better results faster getting your hips and that TFL. Alright, so glutes, TFL and all this lateral hip complex. That's what you want to go for instead of getting into that IT band. Alright, and the only other place you really want to avoid rolling is the front of your thigh. Okay, so this anterior hip section and your groin, alright? Not the best place. There's a lot of big nerves in there, and if you're putting your full body weight onto that area, you could get a lot of compression onto those nerves, which could cause problems further down the line. But what else we're going to do today is show you some techniques, some really good foam rolling techniques that will help you really hydrate those muscles, make them a bit more pliable and allow you to get better results from your training sessions. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and as always, let me know how you found it and give us some feedback. So here we go. So okay guys, we're going to be looking at foam rolling, and what we're going to look at today, we're going to look at our calves, because they really get battered, especially if we're into running and we do a lot of road work. Calves are an area that get real tight, real tense as well. And what we're going to do as well, today we're going to look at the hamstrings, and then remember I talked about in the introduction about not rolling the IT band directly. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at getting into that posterior and lateral hip as well, okay? So they're the three areas we're going to look at today. And what I'm going to do is bring out another edition where I'm going to give you guys an insight into how we foam roll through our upper body. So our lower back, our thoracic spine, up around our lats, even our anterior portions, release our front of our shoulders and our pecs as well, okay? So that's going to be in the second edition, but for today we're going to look at the lower body and our posterior chain, okay? So our calves, hamstrings and hips. Alright, so here goes. Okay, so when we're foam rolling our calves, we want to just listen to the way our body feeds back to us, alright? And listen to the kind of stress response through our muscles and our pain responses, okay? So if it's too much, just back off a little bit, don't put as much pressure through. So you're going to have the foam roll directly under your calf. We're going to look at a bit further down, just above our Achilles tendons. You don't want to be rolling the Achilles tendon directly. And all we're going to do, we're just going to go through nice fluid strokes, okay? So we're just going forwards and backwards, going through nice easy fluid strokes. And we're just working on that soleus now, we're not getting into the big belly of the muscle. Okay, all we're going to do now, we're going to reposition so it's on a bit of a diagonal. Okay, so we're just going to get some slight transverse friction through the calf now. So we're going to go one way, and now we're going to reposition it into the opposite direction and go the other way. Yeah, so you can see how the roller is moving in a different direction to give us a little bit of a different compression and movement through our muscle fibers. Okay, we're going to go back to straight, and we're going to get into our gastrocnemius, so that's our big calf muscle, a little bit higher up in your calf, still keeping below the knee. Again, we're going up and down. Now we're going to change it so it's on the angle, so we're getting a bit of transverse movement. And then we're going to go the other way, okay? Alright, so I've got a whole weight of my leg on the foam roll, and we're just moving nice rhythmical motions, okay? And it's important that you keep these movements nice and easy, nice and steady. Okay, so that was the calf. Okay, we're going to come up a little bit higher now, into our hamstrings, alright? Exactly the same position, you're just rolling, taking the foam roller up a little bit higher. And we're just going to take it right the way up the hamstring now, okay? So our motions are going to be a lot bigger, so we can get right the way up the muscle, yeah? So again, we're not going too fast, and we're not staying in any one area too much. What we're going to do with this one, we're going to keep all the motions forwards and backwards, but we're going to change our foot position, okay? So we had our foot pointing up, straight up just then. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn our foot in. Alright, so we're going to keep our foot turned in. Again, nice fluid, easy motions. Okay, we're going to do one more. This time we're going to turn our foot out. And what it does, it just changes the area where the foam roll hits in your hamstring, just by turning that foot in or turning the foot out. Okay. And that's what we're going to do with our hamstring. Okay, next one, we're going to go up into our hip now, right? Our glutes and our TFL, okay? Glute med, glute max, TFL are on the front, okay? So there's posterior and lateral hip. So this is the one that's really going to help us out in terms of loosening off our IT band. So if we've got runner's knee, this is the one that's going to be really good for us, okay? So to start us off, we're going to get it underneath, and we're going to turn slightly to the side, so we're on the foam roll there. Now what we're going to do is exactly the same motion, okay? So you're going forwards and backwards, alright? Now if you feel it on your hip bone, you can feel it when you go forward, you stop just on your pelvis, and then when you feel you come pushing back, you're going to stop, you'll feel it hitting that hard bit on the outside of your hip, alright? So that's the top of your femur. And you really just want to hit the tissue in between those 2 points. Okay, so you're just going forwards and back. Okay, still staying slightly on the side. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to cross leg over. Alright, so this pre-lengthens the glutes, gives them a bigger stretch, and we're just going to carry on, alright? And we're just going to keep that nice rhythmical motion, alright? Down to the femur, going back, up to the pelvis, going forward, alright? Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to keep our leg up here, and we're going to rotate, okay? So I'm just rocking side to side in my pelvis, yeah? So the foam roll stays still this time, and we're just going to move our body on top, alright? Now it's important that we keep motion going all the time. Alright, so we don't put too much pressure on any one area, and we're also mobilizing the tissue in 3 dimensions. Okay, and we go a couple more seconds for this, just because it feels really good. And relax. Okay, the last one, we're going to get into that TFL. Now this is where you feel the bony bit on the side of your hip. The TFL, which is another muscle attached to that IT band, is just in front of that, okay? So you've got the glute max, glute med just behind, TFL in front. So now we're going to get on that, so we've got to go right on that side for this, okay? And we're still working on the muscle, so we're still getting nice and high in our hip. And on this one, slightly rotated forward, and again, we're just going to be up and down, working our way through this muscle, nice and high on your hip, okay? Alright, so we don't want to go down any further than that bony bit on our pelvis, alright? But we slightly rotated forward, so we're hitting the muscle just to the front of it. And again, really feel this releasing, and it feels really good. Okay, and then you can do the same thing, keep the foam roll still, start adding a bit more rotation through your hips. And there you go. Okay everybody, so there you go. So we went over our foam rolling techniques for our calf, our hamstring, and our posterior, and our lateral side of our hip as well. So like I mentioned earlier on, we're going to do part 2, and we're going to work a bit on the upper body, alright? So we're going to look at getting into those lats, and mainly kind of all that fascia or muscle tissue kind of around your lower and middle back, okay? So that's going to be in part 2, but what I'd like you to do with the things that you've just seen is I'd like you to do each variation for me pre-workout, alright? Now pre-workout is the key for about 60 seconds each, okay? So you've got 3 variations on the calf, with the foam roller in a different position, so straight one way and the other way, and then you've got 3 variations on your hamstring with your foot turned in and your foot turned out and your foot pointing straight up. And then we've also got our variation, so we start off without the legs crossed, then we're going to do with the legs crossed forward and back, and then with the legs crossed rotationally as well. Okay, so take you about 10 minutes, alright? But if you're tight around those areas and you're getting a lot of tension and a lot of pain, that 10 minutes before a workout is massively, massively worth it. Okay, and then what I want you to do is I want you to check out the videos that I've done previously on calf mobilization and the other one on the hamstrings, alright, and integrate some of those stretches from those videos there. Alright, so I'll put links to them in this blog so you can have a look at those videos as well. But if you do the foam rolling, into the calf stretches, into the hamstring stretches, that tissue that we've just worked on today is going to be in really good shape for your workout, really good shape for your run, or really good shape for whatever sport you play. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.